Hello, everybody, and welcome to our evil recap. I'm Larissa, and this is Justin, and we are here talking about episode 5, Z is for Zombies, that weren't really zombies.
No, that was disappointing.
Disappointed face. First of all, I liked parts of the episode. It started to pick up a little bit towards the end, but there was a little bit of a bait and switch at the end that we'll get to when we go through our recap. We won't touch on. I'm a little bit salty about that. We got tricked. There was a little bit of trickery.
Really disappointed about that, yeah.
Yeah, at least there was a little bit of excitement. Also, many people have been complaining that there was narration in the beginning. I know I heard it because I put it on my Roku device. And it was basically giving stage directions. And it was this voice that we heard right up until the intro and through the intro. And then after that, it just randomly stopped. And I thought it was part of the show. I thought it was like satire. I thought there was some type of like demon narrating. I didn't know what it was, but a lot of people had this happen.
Yeah, I had it on my Apple TV. And it was like Lila walks over to the window, like audio narration telling you what happened on the screen. I guess it was different for you.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. It was like, it was basically what you'd read in a script, like stage directions of what you're supposed to, the action that was happening. So I really thought, oh, it's a narrator. This is interesting. And then like 2 or 3 minutes in, I was like, are they going to do this the whole episode? Because that's annoying. I was like, why would they do that? But it turns out this was a mistake. This was some type of glitch, some type of setting with Paramount Plus, with the streaming network. We're not quite sure what, because when I rewatched it just on my computer, it didn't happen. And when I pulled up with my phone, it didn't happen. So I don't think it was supposed to happen.
I had to reboot my app, sign out and sign back in and all that jazz.
Okay. Has that happened to you with another show? Because I've never had that happen ever with any show. Or
No, that hasn't happened, no.
But I did want to clear that up because I see a lot of people complaining about it and saying, what
I'll
the heck?
definitely rage about the app later.
Seriously, I think a lot of people are like, what happened? Why is this woman talking and telling us everything people are doing? And
For you it was a woman?
Yeah, it was a woman. It wasn't a woman?
It was a man. It was a man for me.
Oh my God. Really? Mine sounded like Siri.
Mine was just an American male narrating stuff.
Wow.
But I do have to say that they do have audio descriptions built into the app, but you have to turn those on manually. So I'm guessing that there was a glitch within the app. Yeah, and I'm not a fan of their app interface. They just need to improve that overall.
So the episode opens with one of Kristen's darter. Starts with Kristen's darter. I was thinking of Mayor of Easttown, Murder Durger.
Oh, I love that show.
I was thinking about the SNL sketch where they were making fun of it. So the episode opens with Kristen's daughter, Lila, and they're watching a zombie movie. I didn't know they had neighbors that close. I don't know about you. No idea.
That was really weird because it showed the duplexes or whatever it was adjoining. And I'm like, they never showed that before.
No, I didn't think they had a family that close right there.
No.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you have neighbors and everybody's friends. Where have these neighbors been when all this crazy stuff has been going on? I think they were watching movies they shouldn't have been watching. Scary movies.
Yeah.
Which is probably what prompted a little bit of paranoia, because all of a sudden someone is walking through your alleyway and it's a zombie. No, it's somebody who's just had a long ass day. That's disappointing because I wanted a zombie.
And that happens to me all the time when I watch a scary movie at night.
The girls are certain that there's something back there. There's nothing. There's blood. Did they explain what that blood was?
Remember the video when the workers were showing their feet? They were all bloody.
Yeah, that was,
and so I'm guessing that's what that was.
The workers from the neighbor's dad's company made a delivery and they somehow cut their foot and left blood and then the girl stepped on it. Okay, that makes sense. Now we have a pop-up book, Z is for Zombies, and we have a pop-up zombie. That's it. And now we're taken to a very exciting scene. More David in classes. I do not like these scenes. Justin and I were talking right before we started recording. These scenes in the seminary are kind of slow moving. They seem kind of fillerish. I don't know what you guys think, but
I don't like those scenes. I mean, I still watch them because, they're little tidbits of information. But if they could just cut those if they could cut those and put them as bonus scenes in the episode or something, then I would, that would be good.
Father Mulvihill is bleeding. He's got like slashes on his back. They're talking about Lucifer and he's got blood on his back. David asks Father Mulvihill what is going on. Might need an exorcism, we find out later. But basically he says he's not feeling well. He is not feeling like himself, but he withholds a lot of information from David. He didn't say a word, really. He just says, I'm going through stuff.
In my opinion, that should, all of his lies should facilitate his removal from the priesthood.
Because he withheld a lot of information. He could have been honest.
And it was just really funny because he said that he fell and that he cut his back on something.
Yeah.
And David didn't believe him.
Well, no, who the hell cuts their back? David is just concerned because he thinks, oh, well, he does all these exorcisms. Maybe there's something demonic going on. If he had just told him right up front, well, I have a gambling problem and I owe a whole bunch of people money, we could have skipped this whole episode. And now we have a whole subplot about zombies, not zombies, just disgruntled Amazon workers. After you watch a scary zombie movie, you should have a sleepover in a tent. But they're still like kind of creeping each other out and scaring each other with this zombie BS because they're like, ooh, there's something in your window. It's probably my mom. Yeah, it's probably your mom. What? Yeah, it's definitely a zombie.
If I were Kristen, I would ban all the children from watching zombie movies. I'll go, okay, no more zombie movies.
No more scary movies, considering what she does.
Although after this episode, I am weirdly proud of Lila. Yeah.
I like Lila. We got to know Lila a little bit better. Well, they go up to the bedroom because they're pretty sure there's a zombie up there. They open up the bedroom door, and of course, there's just the zombie pop-up book. Which, was that making noise? Because there was growling.
Yes, it was.
Then we have a scene with Kristen getting the girls ready for school. Lila wants to have another sleepover because she didn't get scared enough because they want to keep digging until they find something that really scares them. It's such a tease because they keep talking about zombies and we still don't see any zombies.
Not a lot of action happened in this episode.
Nothing.
Really,
I'm like trying to like everything is milquetoasty.
I want to like it. I really do. I tried saying that it wasn't milquetoast, but after this third watch, I kind of think it is.
I think because we like the characters so much, it's okay for them to be kind of boring sometimes, and we're okay with it. Kristen gets a call from David saying that Father Mulvihill. He says the exorcist might need an exorcism. What he needs is a loan shark.
Isn't gambling a sin?
It is, yeah.
Okay, and so is he as a preacher supposed to avoid sinning?
Yes.
Throw Father Weird name out of the damn priesthood then.
I think because Mulvihill took David kind of under his wing, David wants to show him a little bit more mercy and compassion. Oh no, I'm boring you already. I don't know why David didn't go to the bishop. I think he wanted to make that deal with him. Well, we'll get to it because he doesn't know about it yet. We're getting to it. It's so slow. So Kristen sits down to do an interview with Mulvihill. And boy, he was pretty forthcoming with her about the information. I mean, he didn't flat out tell her he was in debt. Like, he didn't flat out say, I am $40,000 in debt, but he said, well, I don't have a lot of money.
But he did say he was gambling, though.
Yeah, Mulvihill admitted that he was gambling with money, but he doesn't have a lot of money, so don't worry about it. Well, unfortunately, you don't always have to have a lot of money to gamble it all away. You can gamble away money that you say you have. He did say that he had the problem before. There's a tidbit of information that made me a little bit curious. When he started gambling again and started playing online poker was a month ago. He said it was a month ago. And that is when he started his exorcisms with Leland, remember? At this point, we don't know that there's something up with Mulvihill and Leland, but later on we do find out something weird is going on. So the next scene is Kristen, David, and Ben. They briefly mentioned to Ben that maybe he should take a whole month off because he was almost dead when they found him.
They also mentioned that he was down there for a full 24 hours.
Yeah, we didn't realize that. Well, either way, Ben wants to take a look at Mulvihill's laptop because that's what he does. The next scene is the girls watching more zombie stuff. They're taking notes. Don't get caught in small places or in tight spaces. Not a good place because you get trapped.
But they're in a small space that's tight.
Hiding from her dad. They're like, there's a zombie in the house. No, it's not a zombie. It's your dad. This is very Goosebumpian. Except in Goosebumps, it's the other way around. There's something supernatural happening. and the kids see it, but the parents never see it. And then the parents never believe the kids, but there really is something supernatural happening. I understand this is a metaphor. The zombies are a metaphor. I get it. But it's not really an original metaphor. They're mostly talking about factory workers that aren't unionized.
I hate that because that gives companies an opening to take advantage of their workers. And I think that was the point here.
So it's revealed the neighbor's dad has some type of suspicious looking wound. It looks like a zombie bite. It's not a zombie bite. We think it's a zombie bite. And she says, that's not my dad. Oh, okay. So it's a body snatcher. Yay.
I never saw that movie, and they didn't explain the bites or the marks.
I think it was just an injury from making deliveries and working on the docks. And that's when people heard narration over the intro, which was very weird.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this weird narration? But it didn't have, but right after that it stopped. So I was like, thank God. Then it cuts to Ben meeting with Father Mulvihill, talking about surfing the web, all these pop-up ads. Ben explains to Father Mulvihill that these algorithms target you based on your interests. So there has to be something in his browser history. We don't know for sure if that was the algorithm or someone else, like little Snaky Leland.
Hey, Father Mulvihill, clean your browser history every day. I do it. It works fine.
Delete your cookies. Get a VPN. Well, he's just wondering because he says he hasn't gambled in 30 years, but now he's set himself up to be completely dishonest. So how can we believe anything that he says?
Lying about everything.
I'm glad Ben did what he did because he actually went in and found that his emails have been completely wiped, which is extremely suspicious. You don't go and delete all your emails and then say, oh, look at my computer, find out what's wrong. So I was glad that he was able to recover and use that little trick. I didn't know if that was a real thing or not, where you just type in the @ and the last person that you emailed pops up.
I can't answer that question because I've never needed to do that.
I've never needed to do that either. Well, they emailed this person. I guess it's the bookie. Well, they later on find out.
Yeah,
it's later revealed
it was the
that
bookie.
Yeah, they emailed this person a cryptic email, and the response is basically a warning. But they say, let's meet in person to clear it up. So the next scene after that, we have Kristen on her bed, and she's got all these pop-ups asking, is your husband boring? Do you want to have an affair? All this stuff. Somehow they know.
I think that he was doing some shady shit on the computer, and that's why, before he left, he was doing some shady shit on the computer, and that's why it was popping up like that.
Her husband?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I bet he's not climbing it all. Well, he's climbing something, but it ain't a mountain.
But this pop-up is very not safe for work, and it just starts playing, and Lila comes in. She's like, bloop. So Lila asks Kristen if there are really monsters, and then this is probably the most exciting part of the episode when we see that little cutaway. You see Kristen cut away to when she was murdering LaRue, because Lila actually asks about LaRue. Did you see that?
I did, and I hope they actually show her murdering him. I really want to see it.
But this is obviously still on Kristen's mind. She's clearly thinking about this. And Lila asks, can they still be people underneath? Can you still find that person?
And I think that was her thinking that she was a monster.
I think so too. And then Ben calls. She says, oh, I'm getting pop-ups that say I should go out and meet people. Well, okay, you get the idea. Then he says, bring your laptop over. I'll clean up your cookies. I was like,
if somebody asked me what kind of pop-ups I'm getting, and it was something like salacious or something like that, I would just say, porn.
Yeah, but now we have the fireman, the djinn.
He was rubbing his chest.
Well, first he waves.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, that dumb character's back.
Well, of course he's back. He's attached himself to Kristen. He found a new home.
Still don't get that from the last episode, though, because, the little girl was starting fires even at the end of the episode.
For whatever reason, Kristen is seeing this djinn, what she believes to be the djinn. However, she also believes these to be weird hallucinations, and it could be true that, like I said in the last episode, she could be tripping balls. I wonder if she had any margaritas before that and those pills that she's been popping, like candy.
I think she's getting addicted.
It seems like she's being a little bit excessive with the medicine, but we didn't see her popping pills before, so maybe not. They just showed her on the bed, but we don't know what she did before that. Then it cuts to Kristen, Ben, and David. Ben tells David and Kristen he has discovered what the issue is with Father Mulvihill. He's $40,000 in debt. And he owes money to bad guys. Because usually when you owe money to people that are gambling, it's not good guys. So cleaning out his cookies isn't going to solve this problem. I still don't know at this point why David hasn't gone to the bishop, because that's a lot of money to be in debt.
You claim you don't make a lot of money, but then you blow $40,000 on gambling debts.
So the next scene is Lila and Alex sitting outside their houses. Alex is complaining to Lila that her dad just sits and stares at the wall. He's basically a zombie, although not quite a zombie, because zombies don't just sit and stare at walls. They come and eat brains. So that's good. That's a good sign that he's not trying to eat your brain. However, it's kind of a boring sign for a TV show, because we wanted someone to try and eat someone's brain. This delivery truck pulls up, the Congo Run. The name of the company.
Oh my goodness.
The company.
That's a terrible name. That's a terrible name.
It's tell me you're Amazon without saying that you're Amazon. So the girls Google Congo Run zombies. I'm sorry, that sounds like a horror movie right then and there. That sounds like a very good horror movie title. That sounds like a much more exciting movie than this episode. Bingo! Congo Run warehouse turns employees into zombies. This obviously is drawing parallels to the poor treatment in factories, not just for Amazon, but a lot of factories workers. I think maybe they skipped over the urinating in bottles and just said no bathroom breaks. And then it's revealed this guy has blood on his foot. And you think that's the blood that Lila stepped on her slippers? You think that's the same blood?
Yes.
Now, what kind of shop is this that the girls go to? They go and see this woman in a shop because you say you think they understand that it's metaphorical.
I think they understand that it's metaphorical because the shop they go to is an occult shop. And I don't think that she takes them serious. Like everyone in the country is aware of how Amazon treats its workers. So I think she was aware of what happened because they said Congo Run. And she automatically thought, oh, it's not actual zombies.
And she says that place is toxic.
And that's where she gives them the blue and green vials. And the blue vial is for Dad. The green vial is for the slave driver.
What do you think she gave them? Do you think it was just like sugar pills?
No, because what she gave them for the slave driver or the boss obviously was a substance that made it possible for them to simulate his drunkenness so that he would be fired.
Do you think that those little potions she gave them actually did that? Or do you just think it was coincidental and she just gave them placebo potions?
I would like to think that it was the real thing, but they're kids. Maybe it was placebo.
Like, I'm just going to pretend to mix up herbs and some type of potion that will cure zombieism and cure the slave driving mean boss.
Well, if you're right about that, then that means that nothing happened in this episode.
Oh, that's what I'm wondering.
Lila and her friend, they made dinner for Mom and Dad that night, and they put the stuff in the food. Mom slept in just as late as Dad did. So I think it might have been a real potion or a real substance.
I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't know what to make of this. I thought this was kind of creepy that she would actually give them something real to make someone sleepy or tired. That could be really dangerous if used in the wrong situation. It's one thing if you give it to them specifically before bed. What if he had to do like a late night delivery and he fell asleep at the wheel? That'd be bad.
I just think she knew about the reputation of the company, and she gave them something to make them sleep later.
So then what did she give the boss?
I don't know of anything that would allow you to simulate drunkenness.
The next scene, David actually goes to confront the priest about his little gambling problems and says he'll go to the bishop unless he goes into a program. So the next morning, Lila goes to visit Alex, and Alex tells her her parents are still asleep, and her dad comes running down the steps. I'm late for work. He's flipping out, and he calls into work and learns about this horrible accident that happened at the loading dock where he would have been working. People are in the ER with permanent lung damage. And then the girls run out and they're like, yay, on to the next person, the slave driver. We'll get him. Like, wait a second. This isn't something to be celebrated. What about these poor people that got like gassed? They're all like, yee, we saved Dad. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. The next scene is Ben in his bed late at night, and there is no visitation from our friend Abby, the demon. However, he wakes up and he opens up his laptop And we find out that Leland is chatting. He's chatting with the exorcism father, Father Mulvihill.
He is, I guess, planning to fake it again and telling the father to go along with it, or he's going to expose his behavior to the Catholic Church.
I heard they found out about your bookie. The next scene is David and Sister Andrea. This is probably the best scene in the whole episode.
I agree.
She starts ranting about Father Mulvihill and how he's pretentious. He says he spends his nights making his whole exorcism kit look weathered.
Isn't that a form of deception too?
Yeah.
So this father has all kinds of deception going on.
David tells Sister Andrea that he's exhausted and that he's been texting Leland. She's like, I know who he is.
I would love to know what she saw in Leland that one time when she had that interaction with him.
Maybe it's just that she saw he was a little shit. Also, Sister Andrea wants David to go to the bishop, but he says that he promised he wouldn't.
And then she says that that was a stupid promise.
Yes. Well, Sister Andrea insists on going. The next scene is inside of Alex's parents' house, and her dad is rallying all the employees saying that they want to unionize. They get a visit from management. Somehow he knew they were having a little meeting. They're pretty much talking about walking out here.
If you plan a walkout in coordination to unionize, you cannot be fired for doing that.
That's probably why his boss says, I'm going to fire you for coming in late. Meanwhile, the girls are putting drops of this solution in his gum.
I was screaming at the TV during this scene. I was like, oh my God, hurry up.
They were taking
a while. What are you doing? Stop it.
Yeah, so they drugged his gum with whatever the old lady gave him. We still will never know what the heck happened, whether it was some type of placebo thing or just something to make him act drunk.
That's why I'm weirdly proud of Lila, though. Taking it to her own hands and doing her own thing.
Yeah, she was sneaky.
Yeah, that's something we haven't seen from the girls so far.
The next scene after that is the exorcism scene. And what the hell is Leland wearing?
Yes, it is a onesie, yes.
I don't know about you, but I always wear onesies to my exorcism. He's not too happy about Sister Andrea being there.
Neither is the priest, though. He's like, you don't trust me.
No, because he's lied over and over again, and they've caught him in it. Why would you think that anyone trusts you? Lying is a sin, and you're a priest, and you're gambling. Leland becomes very excited when he sees the three of them show up.
And I would really like to get your take on what happens next in that scene. The father has some sort of fit.
Well, it's all an act, for one thing. We know it's all an act because they plan this. The two of them planned it together. For what reason? We don't know. The whole thing is dumb. But what happened to Father Mulvihill? Maybe something to do with Leland. Maybe he got stressed out and had like a miniature panic attack. I think there's more there that we don't know about.
I love how Sister Andrea was like, she said, you have no power over God.
She called him a fiend.
Yeah. In the next shot, she says, here, David, with the holy water. Here, you do it. And he goes, but I'm not a priest. It's not going to work. And it burns Leland's skin. I don't know about you, but I freaked out.
I was so excited. I love it when he said, try me, bitch. And it's not even the demon talking. It's him just being a little shit. Man, I got all excited thinking, wow, we found the real demon.
I was like, wow, David has power that the priest does not. Oh my God.
Well, no, I had a feeling it was her. I knew it was her. I was like, it has to be her. David's been to these other exorcisms. I wonder, because Ben stepped out because of all the theatrics, he was like, I don't need to watch this. I wonder if he was there, he would have maybe figured out this little parlor trick. And actually, Ben even questions it. Are you suddenly holy? David says, well, no, it was her, Sister Andrea. The next scene is in Alex's house, and she is eavesdropping.
So they go downstairs and they realize, oh, my dad's talking to his boss. We're offering you this promotion to manager, but you have to stop trying to unionize the employees, and we'll pay you 10 times the amount in which you make now.
And somehow, maybe their potion they gave the so-called slave driver, as they're calling him, maybe it caused him to be inebriated, or maybe it just was a coincidence that he happened to go home and become inebriated on his own. Either way, he's been fired. Alex's dad is going to replace him. So let's talk about this next scene with Sister Andrea.
Yeah. David goes into the kitchen and goes, how did you do that? She says, oh, well, but it wasn't me, it was you, and I don't know, because holy water never really burns anybody. So even when Caroline was possessed in the first season, holy water never burned her, even though she had a demon inside her. So I was like, it doesn't even make any sense.
She does bring up a point, and we did learn the truth. Leland is in David's head, and that's all David's doing, I think, because he reveals that to her. But he really believes that the holy water happened because of her. He says for the first time ever, Leland was scared, because we've seen him in the first season when he was praying. We'd see him standing behind
when the
him.
who's on first thing and the sex thing and making.
We didn't know what that was all about. Was he really there or not? The whole thing, it was unclear. Well, now it's clear. He's in his head. The nun, I think, is bitter because they've basically delegated all the women to cleaning the floors and cleaning up after the priests. They don't get any real jobs. Clear ammonia. And we didn't.
Give me some of that ammonia holy water every time you go to an exorcism.
But she puts it under the sink and is like, I was like, you gave us something and then you took it away from us. The next scene, Lila goes back to visit Alex, and Alex's mom tells her that her dad is a different man. So he's changed roles.
It's definitely not for the better. It's definitely for the worse, in my opinion.
It's the better for him.
He's watching up over all the employees in the warehouse going, no bathroom break. Another 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God.
He became the horrible boss, what they call the slave driver.
But I think Lila realized that she made a mistake.
I think they both did. Lila asked, you want to come and watch a zombie movie? And Alex is just like, no. And then it just kind of pans away from them. Really, they just replaced the slave driver with her dad. Well, it's good he's not a zombie anymore, but now he's a whole other monster. Is
there anything you want to say about this episode that we haven't said yet?
No, I'm so sorry. I'm so worried tonight because I'm so underwhelmed. I feel bad. Like, not a lot going on. There's not that much to talk about. Like, we talked about everything there was to talk about.
Okay, guys. Well, that's our show. Hopefully that we won't be so underwhelmed in the next episode.
I think the most exciting part might have been that really annoying narration at the beginning that everyone was confused about. But we're glad you guys watched. Hopefully we'll get a better episode next week. That's it.
Hopefully, yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
It. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.